Thanks a lot, IBM, for that. Now, talking about innovation, right? And when we think about innovation, we always think of an individual who takes courage to disrupt the ecosystem, create new market, and bring new value. Uh, I'm really honored to invite my dear friend, Mr. August Axtinas, founder and CTO of Data on Tap Inc., also called Dot Mobile, to share his perspective. August, floor is all yours.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you see me well. I'm joining you from edge of Algonquin Park today, a traditional land and unceded territory of Algonquin Nation. I'm a founder and CEO of Data on Tap Inc., Canada's first full mobile virtual network operator. At the heart of any startup these days is being a technology company. We are a telecom technology company building an all-digital public cloud-based and machine learning and AI reliant wireless service provider of the future. Thank you for the invitation today to listen, to learn, and participate in the TestOpper community. We are eager to offer developers tools and access to our network of networks shortly after our service launch in 2021, late 2021. Innovative communities like this are important to harness ideas, get support, and gather knowledge that everyone needs to shape the digital economy and in the industries like telecommunications. Thank you again, and I'm gonna switch to listening now, unless you have questions.
Thank you, August. And I like this, a smart, tiny telecom, right? That's a nice word, and I'm looking forward to your launch. And by the way, I'm one of your early members. I've already registered for the services, so I'm hoping to get free services from Dot Mobile. And also, thank you very much for offering the partnership with TestOpper to help our developer community to learn to build innovative products on top of the public cloud hosted small tiny telecom network. Thanks a lot, August, for joining us. I'm looking forward to work with you all. Okay, moving on, Firzan.
Oh, thank you. So thank you, everyone. So now a big thank you to all our cash sponsors, because they also make a lot of what we do possible. And so again, big thank you to the City of Brampton, Chotai Law, Skillcore, and Wave Labs. And we have, a representative of Wave Labs with us today. So you will be hearing from them. And so that's exciting for us. Wave Labs is the AI first technology company for the digital, cognitive, and industry 4.0 era. Wow. Excellent. So thank you so much for that. And now we will move on to our first speaker. Kader, you are muted if you're speaking.
Thank you very much. Before we move on to the next speaker, I also would like to really thank Chotai Law because they have been very supportive for us. If any one of us in this call requires awesome legal service and legal advice, Chotai Law is the place to go. And I also would like to thank Skillcore, which is AI-powered lifelong learning platform provider. We as a TestOpper community, we are very open. One of the value that we follow is we wanted to even make very close friends with like service providers, right? And Skillcore is one of them. And if you wanted to really learn or wanted to change yourself, transform yourself into a lifelong learner, the Skillcore is a platform to go, right? Thank you, Firzan. I just wanted to add a couple of things on top of what you said.
And that's perfect. We always want to say good things about our sponsors. Okay, great. So now I am so delighted and feel very privileged to actually welcome Marin to speak. Marin is from PwC, and he is, going to speak to us about the future of workforce in the age of AI. So thank you so much, Marin. The floor is all yours.
Thank you, Firoz. Sorry. And Firuzan, for you and anybody else who celebrates Nowruz, happy Nowruz. I've spent lots of time in Iran and in Central Asia and enjoyed being in that community. Thanks a lot for inviting me. It's an amazing response and participation for Saturday morning, which really just goes to show to the strength of the Testoper community. And Devin, what a great presentation. I'm now thinking of moving to Brampton. To give you a bit more of a background, I lead part of our cybersecurity practice in PwC, but I lead globally our 5G and massive IoT security and a couple of other hats I wear within PwC. Previously, I had global roles in IBM, Accenture in the industry. I am techie by the background. I focus primarily on cybersecurity, but I've been a CTO in large e-commerce organizations. I advised governments on innovation, and I spent 15 years or so in Asia and Middle East before moving to Canada 2.5 years ago. With those experiences, I saw organizations that have, especially in Asia and in China, that have completely transformed. Removed, unfortunately, 100,000 employees in one swoop and replaced them with robots and AI. I worked on greenfield smart cities, and I was advisor to a couple of European and Middle Eastern Asian smart cities. I have clients now that are smart factories where there are 2 people managing, 10 square kilometers of the factory floor, where absolutely everything else is automated. With that combination, I do lead now basically cybersecurity focused on the emerging risk technologies, but I also am fascinated by how these emerging technologies change or transform the world. Because of that, I wrote a book that that you guys will receive, and hopefully you'll find something valuable there. And in that book, I shared more about what I saw, how the AI is changing the world. And I'll share very briefly some of my ideas or concepts. Firuz and Kader, can you see my slides? Yeah?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. All right, now, in 10 minutes or so that I have, I don't want to bore you with statistics. I'm not going to be telling you how amazing AI is and how world-changing is, because I'm pretty sure that you all know, and that's why you are here. But I want to give you a couple of ideas, something for you to research, and I also want to offer that I'm available. I'm a big supporter of the Testoper community, very keen to drive innovation in Canada, because I do feel, unfortunately, that we are a little bit behind of some of the other parts of the world. So if I can somehow help, feel free to ping me. Always happy to talk to anybody who is interested in emerging technologies and innovation. First thing I'd like you to keep in mind is that technology change is accelerating, as in the change is accelerating, not just the technology change, the technology acceleration. I picked a few quotes from Ray Kurzweil. We can discuss whether predictions about the singularity are correct or not. But one thing that's coming across as correct is that the change is accelerating. Our universities, our big corporates are struggling to keep the pace with those changes. So it comes down to each of us individually to keep this continuous learning and adaptation, which obviously all of you get it, because that's why you are here this morning. I'm not going to tell you more about the statistics because, well, the statistics varies. McKinsey, PwC, we all have our own views of how AI will change the world. And while it varies, we all agree that it's going to massively change and impact the world. So I'm going to go and get you a couple of other ideas just to get you thinking. The first one is a little bit of a reaction to lots of AI conversations I have with the students and with young joiners in our company, where AI is very often perceived as a more advanced analytics, or a photo analysis and sorting application, or a chatbot. Some of these uses that are currently happening in the industry. I want to give you, and I want you to really think and research more about that. I want to give you a bit of a description of the future world where cyber and physical systems are connected. And if you look at all the key buzzwords that futurists and industry and economists are talking about, such as Industry 4.0 or Fourth Industrial Revolution or Society 5.0, smart cities, smart everything, all of those rely on convergence and cyber and physical worlds. Why AI? Well, it is the convergence of the cyber-physical world through IoT and IIoT, enabled by AI and connected through 5G and the advanced cellular and wireless connectivity. It's that trio of the technologies, the AI, the IoT or the cyber-physical systems, and 5G or other similar connectivity options. Those three things together will likely change the world in a much bigger way than even the IT and internet did alone. So if you guys are interested in the AI development or learning more about that, I'd like you to expand and think about AI within cyber-physical world, not just AI within the robotic process automation or the advanced analytics or the current uses. I'll also quickly just touch on a couple of other things. Some of you deep techies that I know you are on this call might not like this message, but I'd want you to think about that. Artificial intelligence, in a simplified way that we've put together as the evolution of AI, currently consists mostly of assisted intelligence, where we try to automate simple repetitive tasks. And here, the most in-demand skills become the deep technology skills that help us deliver those framework and libraries and solutions. We are currently in the phase of development of what we call augmented intelligence, where AI supports all the work that we do in cyber-physical world or in the purely cyber and digital world. AI now starts supporting the work that people used to do. And here's the tough message for you guys. Here, the unique human traits like emotional intelligence, creativity, ability to influence, innovate, and so on, become much more valuable and in demand. That's the thesis of the book that you will receive, where I'm trying to somehow balance the advancement and the career focused on the technology, deep technological skills, and really saying that in this world where we are rapidly going towards augmented intelligence or even further in the future, autonomous intelligence, you have to start looking more at the soft skills and the people or the uniquely human skills, those that AI cannot yet emulate. So in all of those different categories or evolutionary steps of AI, we have need for obviously humans. We don't know yet exactly how, especially further we go in the future. But we know that the deeply technological skills will have to be increasingly supplemented by uniquely human skills. Finally, I want to just finish very quickly on reminding you all that AI is changing every industry. Again, based on some of the research where PwC analyzed multiple statistics and the surveys, is the transportation and storage. It's manufacturing, construction. These are some of the industries that will change the most. And again, linking it back to what I said previously, these are the industries that are asset heavy, those that converge cyber and physical worlds. Like Wave Labs that Kader mentioned, one of the sponsors, where they're focused on Industry 4.0. Similarly, that's what we have to start thinking about. So not just administrative and bureaucratic and knowledge-based services, but cyber physical world. And yeah, again, uniquely human skills, which are the problem solving, leadership, adaptability, creativity, and innovation. These are the hiring challenges that our CEOs in our surveys are telling us that they're struggling with the most. To conclude with the message of the stopper and what Kader eloquently said at the beginning, we have to keep increasing our adaptability and continuous learning in order to be successful in this future of work. Kader, I'll stop here. I hope I didn't go much over time, and I think we can open it at least a little bit for some questions from the team.
Yeah, sure, Marin. In fact, you can go over time. Wow, top-notch messages. Thanks a lot, Marin. One thing that you told me really, aligns to what I was telling. Future workforce is not about just knowing the depth of the skills, but also the breadth of skills. And when you talked about AI, 5G, IoT is going to change the world, right? So it's about, if you think about it, any product that is getting built either by startups or an enterprise, it doesn't just stick to one technology, but rather it uses multiple technologies. For instance, if you wanted to store the data that is not to be mutated or changed, you use blockchain, right? And you use, IoT, and if you want to transport, you use 5G. I mean, it's all connected. I mean, our theme for this year for Testoper is connected industries and automation. So it kind of aligns to all that you're saying. But, let me ask you this question, Marin. You have written a book about leadership in AI and what is expected out of the leadership. Can you tell to the leaders that are out there, right, one thing that we need to really focus on to build our skills, what that would be?
Wow.
One thing, top thing that you believe is in the top of your mind. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, the only answer I can give you is a little bit of it's too abused. It is all about the adaptability and continuous learning. And in the book, I explore more about that, and in lots of my work, even though I come from the techie, deep cybersecurity background, I've learned to appreciate these organizations. Now, a short answer is adaptability and continuous learning and agility. A much more in-depth answer would be how to actually encourage that or share the experiences from the companies that were successful in creating that kind of a workforce, or analyzing, the 99% of those that only pay lip service to those buzzwords but don't really change, right? But it's not an answer that we can simply discuss now. But I think the message for this team is, and hopefully I'm not going to get quoted publicly too much, but our universities and our big enterprises and so on, they cannot move us fast enough to keep the pace with how this technological change is accelerating. So every one of us have to become more accountable for our own continuous learning and adaptation and, reading books, participating in the stopper community and developing our skills. That's how we are going to change the world. There are other statistics I could quote that support, less loyalty to companies, more people changing jobs more often, a gig-based economy, right? So we can't leave it to the organizations. Now we have to leave it to the universities, cities like Brampton, governments, and so on to facilitate and enable. But we all have to take accountability for continuous learning and adaptation.
Thank you, Marin. It really aligns to the word that we always use, people-led grassroots movement, right?
Exactly.
So we, as a people, have to come together and learn together and advance everyone, right? It should not be top-down. It should be bottom-up. If we learn together, we can help enterprises to grow. If we learn together and grow together, we can help the government to grow, economy to grow. There's a lot of things that we can do as a team. Awesome things, right? Adarsh, do you have any question for Marin?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
absolutely. I think the first question, Maran, which I will probably ask you later on, is also I would love to know more details about all the fantastic screens I see in your background, all the monitors and everything. But we'll get to that later. But the second question would be is when you started talking, you spoke about singularity. And I've had my own little research about singularity, but I'm not sure whether this entire community knows what singularity is all about and the future of it. Can you give us, very brief what singularity is? Because I think it's a super interesting topic for this community.
Whew, that's a tough topic because whenever I talk about that, there is it is a controversial topic and
Yes.
lots of people. Sorry, did you say something?
I was just agreeing. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, it is a controversial topic and there are lots of differences of opinion. But in short, it's some kind of a point in the future in which the technological growth becomes uncontrollable. The idea was promoted by Ray Kurzweil, by the same Google futurist that I quoted at the beginning. But the idea is that it's the technological change where we can't anymore stop the technological advancement. It's the technology that starts on its own, developing more advanced technologies and just continue this rapidly accelerating transformation. Obviously, it has all kinds of implications, whether we are going to be dealing with malicious AI or even, AI that just rationally decides that humans are not necessary anymore at some point in time, or we are going to be able to control that development of the technology. But we are moving towards that. We are moving towards that integration of cyber and physical. My next book I'm writing is on how do we actually secure Society 5.0. And for those of you who have not heard about that, Society 5.0 is a really concept that comes out of the Japanese government. And they've identified this convergence of cyber, physical, and biological, obviously enabled by technology and AI, that will transform the society, but will also work for the betterment of society and will be the driving engine for the Japanese economy in coming years. So expanded a little bit more that Industry 4.0 or Fourth Industrial Revolution concepts into bringing in biological world and focusing on how to improve the society.
Wow.
So in many ways, we are going towards that singularity, but it's very hard to identify when that singularity will happen. With autonomous AI, that's when we think that the risk of singularity is the largest.
Excellent. Thank you so much for enlightening this group with that concept. And I'll hand it back over to Kadir now.
Firazan, over to Firazan, passing on. Thank you very much, Marin, and also for the generosity, for providing your book to all the attendees here. Again, everyone who stays till the end only will get that book. That book, if you go to the Amazon, the value of the book is close to $20. So you got to wait all the way towards the end to get that book. Over to you, Firazan. Firzan, maybe you're on mute.
Yes, I am. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so thanks so much, Marin. That was super interesting, and I can't wait to get the book actually. I'm going to start reading it right away because I have a very special interest in AI, and I have a very special project that I think AI will work fabulously for. And to all of you 88 people out there and to all your friends, if you're interested in joining us, you can still make sure your friends join us. You can still get on to LinkedIn. Shai, our CMO, has been posting messages in the chat all morning. So please pay close attention to that and join our community on Eventbrite, join our LinkedIn groups, and be a part of Test Topper.